This conference will now be recorded.
So coming to the definition of tannins, before the tannins I've given a brief history of tannins, what they do, what is the use of tannins. Historically, the importance of tannin containing drugs is linked to the tannin properties. In other words, their ability to transfer the fresh hides into leather. So majorly the Combretaceae family. There is a family called Combretaceae that contains the major amount of tannins. For example, Myrobalans, which is of a Terminalia species, contains tannins. So oak species that also contains tannins. The consequence of tanning is the formation of bonds between the collagen fibers in the hide, which imparts resistance to water, heat, and abrasion. This capability of tannins to combine with the macromolecules explains why they precipitate cellulose, pectins, and proteins. In the sense, they precipitate the cellulose, pectins, proteins, and meanwhile they forms a complex with the proteins. It also explains their characteristic astringency and tartness. So they have a property of astringency, that is, which precipitates the protein. So and tartness, which have a that hardness of that. By precipitating the glycoproteins contained in saliva, tannins can make the later lose its lubricating power. Probably if you have tannin containing drug, the salivary secretions will be lost. So losing a lubricating power in the mouth also. The common it means it start precipitating the proteins in the mouth also. When you start precipitating mouth, the amount of the saliva required for the lubrication of the mouth will get decreased. The combination between tannins and macromolecules, that is nothing but the collagen, is established by the hydrophobic interactions and hydrogen bonds. This you should remember how this tannins will go and combine with the macromolecules. Macromolecules is nothing but according to us the proteins, or it might be the collagen. So this tannins and macromolecules is established by hydrophobic interactions and hydrogen bonds between the phenolic group of tannins and the proteins or other polymers. So here the interaction is hydrophobic and the hydrogen bonds. Other type of linkages must also be involved. Probably it might be there for the just to enhance the stability of the combination between the tannins and the collagen. There is a linkages, but as of now we know that it is an hydrophobic interactions in the hydrogen bonds. They include the covalent bonds established after oxidation of the phenols to quinones. So there is a formation of covalent bond also once the phenols get oxidized to quinones. But to make this, there should be provided with a proper conditions. Now, overall, the points to be remembered is this tannins combined with the macromolecules. The macromolecules is nothing but the proteins or the collagen. These proteins or the collagen, when they are binding, what type of a bondage is there, means hydrophobic or hydrogen bonds formation. Once it get oxidized, there is a formation of the phenols get oxidized into quinones. There is probably the formation of covalent bond. So coming to the definition of tannins, tannins are complex organic naturally occurring substances in which polyphenols are present, generally with orthohydroxy or orthotrihydroxyl group on a phenyl ring, which have fairly high molecular weight and converts hide into leather. So here the points to be remembered, you have to remember it's a complex organic substances is a one. Yeah, all these are naturally occurring substances. One more is they have, see, whatever we say, they are polyphenols, which you have to remember. Phenol, you know, one to the one benzene ring, one hydroxyl group is attached, then it is a phenol. These are polyphenols. More than one hydroxyl group present on the phenol, we call it as a polyphenols. This polyphenol might be, if the benzene ring is in the benzene ring, one hydroxyl group is here, then why this? Which one you could see? Which is the slide you could see? Tannin definition you could see?
Yes, ma'am. Tannins are
Hello.
complex organic.
Okay. So here orthohydroxy, if benzene ring is here. Okay, I'll show here from here. See, if now, if you see this is a benzene ring, this is the hydroxyl group. If this is an phenol, you just don't consider all this. If this is an benzene ring and this hydroxyl group, so to this is an ortho, meta, para. So this ortho hydroxy. So this is what we are mentioning about this hydroxyl group, what is present. This is a one phenol. This is a benzene ring, and with the hydroxyl group is a phenol. To this phenol, if you go to the right hand side, like hydroxyl group is here, means this is ortho, meta, para. Hydroxyl group is here, means ortho, meta, para. So here orthohydroxy or ortho trihydroxyl group on a phenyl ring, which have a fairly high molecular weight. Why we need a high molecular weight?
To form a network.
Yeah, it has to get linked with the protein. So if it has a low molecular weight, it will pass through the linkages. So that intermolecular space will be there, or the interlinking space will be there. There it will just pass off. Since it is high molecular weight, it will just retain on that and it get linked with the hydrophobic or the hydrogen interactions. So and converts the hide into leather. So these are the Morocco, we call it as a tanning pits. This name is Morocco. These are the tanning pits where tannin. This is a very conventional method. Yesterday what I showed you is a sophisticated method. This is one of the, leather quality it differs. So you will get for a leather for 1,000 rupees also, 800 rupees also, and 5,000 also, and 50,000 also. So the quality of a leather majorly based on the amount of the concentration of the tannins you are adding. You add a high concentration of tannins, you don't think that, yeah, oh, it becomes a good tannin, or tanning process will take place and it will get converted into leather. No. Yesterday also I said that the amount of the tannins for tanning process should be optimized. Now coming to the properties, before going to the classification, the tannins properties, these tannins are, they dissolve in water to form a colloidal solution. They are soluble in water to form a colloidal solution, but their solubility varies with the polymerization. So the amount of the polymerization will indicate, probably if the less of the polymerization, they get solubilized, and if the more the polymerization, they form a highly colloidal solution. Apart from this, they are also soluble in alcohol and acetone, alkali and glycerol. The stability of the aqueous solution varies with the structure and generally moderate. For example, during the extraction with the boiling water, a tannin such as gyranin decomposes in 30 minutes to give a gallic acid and ellagic acid. So, based on the structure, the amount of the hydroxyl group present on that, it takes the stability and also the solubilization of the tannins in the water. The stability of the tannins in the water and the solubility will depend on the number of hydroxyl group present on the phenyl ring. Here, apart from this, the tannins are soluble in other organic solvents also. Why it is coming here like this? So it might be alcohol, acetone, glycerin, and other organic solvents also it solubilizes. This tannin solution precipitates the heavy metals, alkaloids, glycosides, and gelatin, means the proteins. So solutions precipitates the heavy metals. That's how we can identify alkaloids, glycosides, and gelatin. If a dilute ferric chloride is added to the tannins property, it will give a bluish black color. It gives a bluish black color or a brownish green, which changes later to orange green as the more ferric chloride is added. So it precipitates the gelatin and alkaloids. I said already that. So free gallic acid, if it is present, it gives a orange color with a potassium iodate. Tannins are precipitated by salts of copper, tin, and lead. This will precipitate the gelatin and alkaloids and glycosides. This precipitate them. Now alkaloidal solution is there. Now you add the tannins. They precipitates the alkaloid. Now tannin solution is there with you. If you add the salts of copper or tin or lead, the tannins will get precipitated out. This is very important property. If you have alkaloids, the protein or the gelatin, if you add the tannins, this gelatin and alkaloids will get precipitated out. If you add to the tannin solution salts of copper, tin, and lead, tannins get precipitated out. Clear? Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Coming to the classification of tannins. In higher plants, two groups of tannins are usually generally distinguished, which differ by their structure as well as biogenetic origin. That is hydrolyzable tannins and the condensed tannins. So here it is distinguished differ by their structure as well as their biogenetic origin, that is hydrolyzable tannins and the condensed tannins. So here this hydrolyzable tannins is again classified into ellagitannins and gallotannins. Apart from this hydrolyzable and the condensed tannins, we classify one more classification, pseudotannins, but we don't classify it as a pseudotannins, but still there is a classification, or there is a term called pseudotannins, which you should remember. Now the classification is hydrolyzable tannins and the condensed tannins. You can write 1, 2 in hydrolyzable tannins, ellagitannins and gallotannins. But you have to mention the pseudotannins in the classification, but you're not mentioning it as 1, 2, 3. Just you're mentioning the pseudotannins are there. That's all. But as such, the classification is 2, hydrolyzable and condensed. Hydrolyzable contains the ellagitannins and the gallotannins. Hydrolyzable tannins are hydrolyzed by weak acids or weak bases to produce the carbohydrate and phenolic acids. Examples of gallotannins are the gallic acid, esters of glucose, and tannic acid. Hydrolyzable tannins are esters of sugar majorly and of a variable number of phenolic acid molecules. The sugar is most generally the glucose present in the hydrolyzable tannins. The phenolic acid is either the gallic acid. See, when they hydrolyze, they give a carbohydrate. The carbohydrate usually the glucose and the phenolic acid. The phenolic acid usually will be the gallic acid in case of a gallotannins. So here I said there is a gallotannins and ellagitannins. So based on that, the phenolic acids what we are mentioning here, once they are, see in the name itself it's hydrolyzable tannins, they are undergo the hydrolysis easily with the weak acids or a weak bases. When they hydrolyze, what they give a carbohydrate and the phenolic acid. Which is a carbohydrate they give? Usually the glucose. Which is a phenolic acid they give? If they give a gallic acid, then it is a gallotannins, or else hexahydroxydiphenylic acid, that is HHDP, or D, that is dihydrohexahydroxydiphenylic acid is there. One more. That is called as a ellagitannins. I have written here. Yeah, I have written here. So here you can see they may be hydrolyzed by the acids or the enzymes or the weak bases. The enzyme such as tannase is also one of the enzyme which hydrolyzes the hydrolyzable tannins, and they give a sugar and the phenolic acid. The phenolic acids are linked with the ester linkages with the sugar moiety. Hydrolyzable tannins are the esters of sugars and the phenolic acid molecules that I said. The phenolic acid may be the gallotannins if it contains a, so hydrolyzable tannins is classified into two types. That is ellagitannins and the gallotannins. If it contains a gallic acid, then it is a gallotannins. Once if you hydrolyze, you get a glucose plus gallic acid, then they're termed as a gallotannins. Gallotannins will give a gallic acid. In the case of ellagitannins, it gives a HHDP, that is hexahydroxydiphenylic acid, or it is one more is DHHP, that is dihydrohexahydroxydiphenylic acid, which is an oxidative derivative. If it gets an HHDP or DHHDP, then they are called as an ellagitannins. I think it's clear. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Examples for the hydrolyzable tannins are like gallotannins, rhubarb, clove, red rose petals, bearberry, Chinese galls, Turkish, amamelis, chestnut, maple. These are all comes under the gallotannins. So ellagitannins, pomegranate, rind. I'm not asking about the what you eat. The rind, what is present, that is called contains ellagitannins. Pomegranate bark, eucalyptus leaves, some Australian kinos, chestnut, and oak bark. All this contains ellagitannins. You can see the gallotannin. So here, this is a gallotannin. This is the sugar moiety in the center. You can see these are the polyphenolic compounds. What is present here? They are attached to the sugar moiety, which is in the centrally. It is present. Usually, the glucose moiety is present in the center, and these polyphenols are attached around it. So these are called as, once you hydrolyze them based on the gallic acid. See, these are all the gallic acid. So gallic acid is with a 3-hydroxyl group and 1 COOH. This is a 3-hydroxyl group with 1 carboxylic group. This carboxylic group will get attached with the sugar moiety. You can see here, this is a phenol group. Sorry, this is a gallic acid where 3-hydroxyl group and acidic group as acid group. Acid group is again connected with the or bonded with the glucose. You can see again here, this is a 3-hydroxy bonded. This is again. So this is one gallic acid. This is one gallic acid. They are both attached to the sugar moiety. So when you hydrolyze this, you will get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gallic acids plus sugar moiety. That's why it is called as an gallotannins. So gallotannins are simplest hydrolyzable tannins containing a polyphenolic and polyol residue. Polyol is nothing but the alcohol with multiple hydroxyl group. So these are the few structures of see, I said no, COOH will be here. COOH, OH, OH. Here COOH is a gallic acid. Coming to the ellagitannins, with more than 500 natural products characterized so far, ellagitannins are largest groups known in tannins. These ellagitannins are formed from the gallotannins by the oxidative coupling of at least 2 galloyl units. So here what we call it as an HHDP and DHHDP. HHDP oxidized form is a DHHP. Here the gallotannins, again gallotannins are oxidative coupling of at least 2 galloyl units will combine to form a ellagitannins. Means ellagitannins is more complexer than the what is that, what is that, gallotannins. So coming to the okay. Here you can see this structure here in this gallotannin. If this structure, what we call it as here, what I'm showing. We can draw anything here. This structure, what I'm showing. Oh my God. This structure is the hexahydroxydiphenolic acid as such here. This one. This hexadihydrophenic acid, if as such it is present along with this, then also it is called as an this one, ellagitannins. So here ellagic acid, these group will get condensed to form hexahydroxydiphenolic acid, will combine, these two molecules will combine to form ellagic acid. So ellagic acid, this hexadihydroxyphenic acid, instead of hydrolysis, see this here it will get hydrolyzed. Instead of this, as such it is present, and it on hydrolysis it gives in glucose plus this hexadihydroxydiphenolic acid, then it is called as an, it will not be linked with the carboxylic group. It will be directly linked with the benzene with a CC bond. Then we call it as hexahydroxydiphenolic acid, which we call it as an ellagic acid. So ellagic acid is more complex in structure compared to the gallotannins. The next classification after hydrolyzable is the condensed tannins. These condensed tannins are polymers of condensation. They undergo condensation of 2-3 molecules. So it is at least 2 to 50 flavonoid units are joined together by carbon-carbon bonds, which are not susceptible to be cleaved by hydrolysis or condensed tannins. These hydrolyzable tannins undergo easily hydrolysis either by the enzymes or the acids or the weak bases, whereas the condensed tannins does not undergo any hydrolysis and they resist the hydrolysis are called condensed tannins, and these are the polymers of 2 to 50 or more flavonoid units. All hydrolyzable tannins and most condensed tannins are water soluble, as we said in the property, and very large condensed tannins are insoluble. Very large molecules, polymers are insoluble. So here the condensed tannins consist of flavanol 3-ol linked together by CC bonds, most of the often 4,8 or 4,6. See, condensed tannins are oligomeric or polymeric proanthocyanidins. Now, what are proanthocyanidins? These are the complex tannins which are modified ellagitannins. So here, ellagitannins itself is a complex moiety. These are the modified form of ellagitannins. We call it as an anthocyanidins. So which will have a one moiety addition to them, that is a phenyl chromate. So along with the hexahydroxydiphenylic acid, they will have a phenyl chromate group along with the glucose. They are called as a anthocyanidins. In the anthocyanidins, they are again classified as a flavonoellagitannins, procyanidinoellagitannins, but the only difference with this condensed tannins, they contain a proanthocyanidin which will have a phenyl chromate extra group. And these are the polymers. Polymers means there will be many molecules of the ellagitannins. In that, it will have a one moiety will contain a phenyl chromate derivative. And usually this flavonoids, the anthocyanidins, what we call it as, these are all coloring pigments. So this, like if you see in the petals the color, the different colors can be seen. You can see yellow color, red color, or the rose color, rose pink color. So these are all due to presence of these anthocyanidins. These anthocyanidins are nothing but these are the polymeric or the oligomeric or polymeric of the ellagitannins, which resist the hydrolysis. They contain one component called phenyl chromate in the structure. Clear? Now what are flavonoids if I ask you? These are the proanthocyanidins or the condensed ellagitannins containing a phenyl chromate group. You can see here there are different names for this: proanthocyanidin, anthocyanidins, flavonoids, probophenes. These are all give a characteristic color to the many of drugs. It might be cinchona bark. The red color is due to the presence of flobophenes. We used to call it them as a phlobatannins. So the catechol, the tea leaves gives a, what color tea leaves gives? What color tea leaves gives? You're there? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. What color tea leaves gives?
Green.
When you boil with water, what color it will give?
Brown. Red.
Brownish black, right? Sometimes if you see it is reddish brown, it will be. Sometimes if you see it is a reddish black or brownish black, it will be there. When you add milk, what will happen?
Light brown.
You drink tea? Yeah, it might be a light brown if you add less. If you add more of a tea leaves, then it will be of a dark brown. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Satish is there?
Yes, ma'am.
You drink tea?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Which color it gives, Satish?
Ma'am, chocolate color, brown color.
Oh, yeah. Then you add less amount of milk then.